Today on Straight Talk, I'm with Dr. Gavin Macgregor-Skinner. He's a director of GBAC. And the reason why we're getting together today is because, Gavin, you have been monitoring and keeping an eye on something that's coming out in the United States, another potential outbreak. And I don't even want to try to pronounce what it is. I'm going to let you handle that. Do we have another disease outbreak in the US?
Yes, we do, Jeff. It's a disease that doesn't affect people, it kills rabbits. And it's called rabbit hemorrhagic disease, virus number 2. And it's a variant of a disease we knew about, but this disease now, this rabbit hemorrhagic disease virus 2, is nearly 100% lethal to rabbits. And we first heard about this disease, we've seen it, sporadic outbreaks, but it's really taken off since February of this year.
So you say it's in the States, like where at? What part of the country?
Well, in February of this year, we heard from an animal center, a veterinary clinic actually in Manhattan. It was the Manhattan Center for Avian and Exotic Medicine. It's one of the busiest rabbit veterinary practices in New York City, but it's also a boarding facility. Now, in February, on the same day, 3 rabbits died: a young rabbit, a middle-aged rabbit, and an elderly rabbit. And again, the discussion was, well, two deaths might be a fluke, but 3 on the same day, that's ominous. There's something wrong here. Within a few weeks, 8 more rabbits died. And now the diagnosis was made that they have this, what the US Department of Agriculture calls a foreign animal disease, this rabbit hemorrhagic disease virus 2. And we've now seen this disease in rabbits. It's a very hard disease to diagnose. It's caused by a virus called Lagovirus. The rabbits are sick. They might experience lethargy, high fever, difficult breathing, or no symptoms at all. But regardless of the symptoms, the death rate for rabbits is nearly 100%, and there's no treatment for this disease.
So obviously our audience is the cleaning industry. How does this affect us?
Well, this is really significant because this Lagovirus, the virus that causes rabbit hemorrhagic disease, is able to survive and spread. And the way it does this is amazing. This virus can persist on a dry cloth for hundreds of days, for months. It can withstand freezing and thawing. It can thrive in a dead rabbit, again, for months. It can be on rabbit pelts, rabbit meat. It can be in the wool from Angora rabbit fur. It can be spread by birds, flies, coyotes, or other animals that feed on rabbits. Now, what's really interesting about rabbit hemorrhagic disease version number 2 is that it now affects both domestic, the pet rabbits, as well as the rabbits that are farmed for meat, for fur, but also it affects wild rabbits. Now, when we had rabbit hemorrhagic disease number 1, it didn't affect wild rabbits, but this one does. And it persists in the environment for months, and it remains contagious, infectious for months.
So what about the cleaning industry? I don't see many rabbits myself. Are we seeing possible contamination that we should be concerned with?
Well, this is interesting. We don't often talk about the rabbit industry here in the US, and it's enormous. The American Rabbit Breeders Association has 20,000 members. Did you know there was over 25,000 rabbit shows in 2019 in the US?
Had no idea.
Rabbits are the 3rd most popular pet behind dogs and cats. But also the fact that the US Department of Agriculture, it estimates there's 6.7 million pet rabbits, as well as the rabbits that are used for industry, for meat and for fur and other products, but also the wild rabbits. And what we've seen now, this rabbit hemorrhagic disease virus number 2 has now spread to 9 US states: Ohio, Washington, New York, New Mexico, Texas, Colorado, Nevada, and California. And a lot of the professional cleaners we're working with have been called in to clean and disinfect the facilities. And that's really hard. It's very challenging because this virus lasts and survives for a very long time. It's a tough one to inactivate or kill.
Yeah, I had no idea how many rabbits were involved as pets in people's homes, or I do know I have them outside my home. And now I guess I'm going to keep my distance, although they take care of that themselves. Any other tips you want to share to cleaning professionals who might clean in facilities or be involved with any that are affected by rabbits?
Well, what we're hearing right now, Jeff, through the US Department of Agriculture and other government agencies is that, again, the virus has spread to these 9 states. There still has been outbreaks. If you're a cleaning professional and you are called in to clean and disinfect a facility that has had the rabbit hemorrhagic virus disease, you have to follow 3 steps. First of all, you have to do a pre-dry clean. And this is a lot of work. You have to remove all organic material, the bedding, the feces, the fur, the soil, the food material, everything that's on the cages or the hutches. You have to do that by scraping, brushing, sweeping, and digging. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is you have to clean. So once all the organic material has been removed by pre-dry cleaning, you have to wash everything with soap and water. You have to rinse it well, and then you let it dry. Then step number 3 is the disinfection. You have to submerge, saturate everything, again, with diluted bleach at about 2,300 parts per million. And that has to be kept wet. That wet contact or dwell time is for 5 minutes. Or there's another product we use in the animal industry called 1% Virkon S. The active ingredient is potassium peroxymonosulfate. Now, you have to keep Virkon S wet for 10 minutes. And so again, then you have to rinse after you've disinfected and you've kept it to the right dwell or contact time. You have to rinse everything with water and let it dry. But what also state departments of agriculture, as well as the US Department of Agriculture, are saying, if a facility has this virus, you've gone through these cleaning disinfection steps, you cannot get new rabbits into that facility for 90 days. Now, cleaning disinfection staff and members and personnel have to wear the appropriate personal protective equipment, gloves, eye protection, and the protective clothing, because this virus, this rabbit virus, is so infectious, so contagious, and so easy to spread.
Now, is this a threat to people?
No, this disease does not cause any problems in people whatsoever, but it will, and it does, and has in other countries. For example, in China, it killed over 140 million rabbits.
Okay.
And again, as we start to look at the rabbit industry and the rabbits as pets, and also the wild rabbits, it will decimate the population if we don't bring this under control.
So I see the correlation now to the cleaning industry. We can protect the world of rabbits and hinder this disease from spreading.
It's going to cause us lots of challenges. It's
Okay.
a tough one to kill and activate, but you've really got to focus on it. And again, people have to know what they're doing when they're called in to, again, clean and disinfect any facilities that have had this disease.
Well, Gavin, thank you for the heads up. And those watching this, we'll look at rabbits in a different way.
Never a dull moment, Jeff.
Never. Another issue to deal with. Thank you.
You're welcome.